Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're diving into Fighting a Path to Understanding by Bob Breen, based on your interest. Really looking to get beyond just techniques in martial arts and understand the core thinking, the training methods he talks about.
Yeah, this is a really interesting one. It's clear right from the intro, Breen isn't just giving you a list of moves. He dedicates it to his family, his academy,
Hmm.
and says straight up he wants to explain the why, when, and how of fighting, not just the what. It's all about principles, drawing on like 40 years of experience plus his Jeet Kune Do study.
40 years, wow.
Yeah, and he mentions, those comprehensive karate books by Oyama and Nakayama. He wanted to create something similar, a real resource.
Okay, so let's dig into Breen's own background a bit. His early experiences sound pretty formative. He mentions losing a street fight.
Right, because he lacked technique. And then dealing with, group threats, weapons, that kind of real world stuff.
That'll shape your perspective.
Definitely. And he was also inspired by figures like Modesty Blaze, which is a cool, kind of unexpected reference, and his karate teacher, Tatsuo Suzuki.
Modesty Blaze, interesting. So that diverse background, karate, judo, boxing, kung fu, it all feeds into this principle-based approach.
Absolutely. He wasn't just dipping his toes in, he went deep enough to get the core of each art. And that journey led him to Bruce Lee's concepts and, crucially, a long mentorship with Dan Inosanto.
Ah, Inosanto. Big name.
Huge. So when Breen talks principles, it's built on this incredibly rich, diverse foundation. The insight for you here, I think, is how sometimes exploring different, seemingly separate paths can lead you to understand the deeper connections between them.
Right, seeing the common threads. So our mission today, for you, is to pull out those key principles, those actionable ideas from Breen. Find the insights you can use not just for martial arts, but maybe for skill development, strategic thinking, other areas of life.
Okay, yeah. And one of the big foundational concepts he lays out is his 5 stages of learning. It's kind of progression he sees in mastering any art, really.
5 stages. Okay, what are they?
It goes build a base, seek the method, become the method, abandon the method, and finally return to simplicity.
Sounds like a journey. Can you walk us through those? What does build a base actually involve?
So build a base is all about mastering the absolute fundamentals, repetition, 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 until it becomes body knowledge, as he calls it.
Body knowledge, like muscle memory.
Sort of, but deeper. It's an almost unconscious understanding. Your body just knows how to move correctly. He specifically flags good boxing and kickboxing skills as a really solid base.
Why those specifically?
Well, they cover fundamental striking, footwork, balance, things like the front stance for power and punches, the tie stance for balancing kicks and defense. It's about getting those core mechanics down solid. The key insight is you need that rigorous grounding in fundamentals no matter the field. Without it, everything else is built on sand.
Makes sense. Okay, so you've built the base. What's stage 2? Seek the method.
Exactly. Now you dive deeper into specific techniques. It's not just knowing of a technique, but understanding all its subtleties. The weight shifts, the timing, the little details. Breen calls it a period of research and study. You're really exploring the toolkit you've been given, learning what each tool does best, when to use it.
Right, going from knowing the letters to forming words and sentences, then become the method. That sounds like a bigger leap.
It really is. This is where the practitioner starts to truly embody the art. Those techniques you've drilled become second nature. You internalize these reference points, as Breen puts it, drawing on Bruce Lee's ideas.
Reference points.
Yeah, like internal anchors that let you improvise based on what's happening now, what the opponent gives you. Chaos becomes less intimidating because you have this deep, intuitive well to draw from, like a musician improvising a solo.
Okay, moving from conscious thought to intuitive flow. Now, stage 4, abandon the method. Sounds counterintuitive. Are you throwing it all away?
Huh? Yeah, it sounds like it. But it's not about forgetting. It's about understanding the principles so deeply that you're no longer bound by specific rigid techniques.
Ah, okay.
You can adapt, create, personalize based on vast experience and the specific situation. There's no rigid expectation, just a fluid, effective response to what is. Think of a master chef who understands flavor and technique so well they can invent amazing dishes on the fly, no recipe needed.
Knowing the rules so well you can break them effectively.
Got it.
And the final stage, return to simplicity.
After all that complexity and mastery, you filter everything down. You refine. You select what truly works best for you. Breen says you come back to a core, direct understanding of attack and defense, stripping away anything extra. It really echoes Bruce Lee's philosophy, find the essence.
That whole progression. Build, seek, become, abandon, return. You can see that pattern in learning almost anything complex, can't you?
Absolutely. It's a really powerful framework.
Now, Breen also pushes this idea of functionality over fancy techniques, doesn't he? Similar to Lee.
Very much so. He's extremely pragmatic. Is this technique useful? Does it work under pressure for a modern martial artist? That's the question. He avoids jargon, aims for clarity. If it looks cool but doesn't work, he's not interested.
Practicality first. He also gets into body mechanics, which sounds crucial. It's not just about brute strength.
Not at all. Effective striking is about using the whole body, the kinetic chain. But even more, it's about aligning your skeleton behind the strike.
Aligning the skeletons.
Yeah, so you're not relying on muscle to hold joints stable. Think about that quote he uses, where there's a joint, there's a weakness. Good mechanics mean maximum power with minimum vulnerability and less strain. It's smart power.
That's a great insight, being efficient with your structure. Okay, let's talk range and measure. Sounds fundamental.
It is. Knowing your own reach with your punches and kicks and being able to judge your opponent's reach, it's critical. Breen talks about using longer tools like the jab or a lead side kick to gauge that distance.
Like a fencer probing.
Exactly. You probe, you measure, you control the distance to set up your best attacks. He even points out the phrase, "I've got the measure of him," comes directly from this combat concept. It's strategic awareness of space.
Interesting origin. What about the center line? We hear that term a lot.
The center line is that direct path to vital targets, head, solar plexus, etc. Different styles defend it differently, maybe with arm blocks.
Right.
But Breen has a slightly different take. He suggests your eyes are your first line of defense against center line attacks. Visual awareness lets you react sooner. Reserve your arms more for wider, looping shots that come from the periphery.
So awareness first, physical blocks second for those direct threats.
Fascinating. Okay, footwork. He stresses this is more than just moving around.
Oh, definitely. He says you need to overdo footwork in training until it's ingrained, subconscious. Simple stance changes can totally disrupt an opponent or open them up.
How so? Well, he covers different types, the slide and step for small adjustments, step and slide for bigger moves, curving steps to get off the line. It's all about purposeful movement to control range, evade, and create angles, not just shuffling your feet.
Deliberate positioning.
Yeah.
Got it. Now, this idea of the combat timeline. Can you break that down? How is that useful?
The timeline is Breen's way of looking at the phases of an engagement. Ideally, you want to preempt act before their attack fully launches.
It requires good reading skills.
Totally. Then there's interactive combat, where you're both exchanging. After that comes evasion and counterpunching, make 'em miss, make 'em pay. And right at the very end of their attack is blocking. It's a strategic map of timing.
And how do you train for that? Just reacting faster?
He suggests picking a reliable stop hit like your jab or a quick front kick and practicing using it at all points on that timeline, interrupting them early, countering simultaneously, hitting them after they miss.
So one tool, multiple applications depending on the timing.
Exactly. It integrates that tool deeply into your game, makes it automatic, whether you're being proactive or reactive.
Makes sense. Okay, let's get into the actual strikes. Principles of striking. Punches first. There's more to a jab than just sticking your arm out, I assume.
Oh, yeah. He emphasizes the jab's versatility. It's not just for range, how to get body weight behind it. He clearly distinguishes a looping cross from a straight right. The mechanics are different. Then the hook, all about hip rotation. And close range stuff like uppercuts, shovel hooks. Even simple punches have technical depth.
And kicks. Similar nuances.
For sure. He details the front kick, different variations like the pendulum step, the round kick again, hip rotation is key. And he has this great line, the less you interfere, the more powerful it becomes. Like letting a whip crack naturally. And adapting kicks for different heights, low, body, head, it's all coordinated full body movement.
Understanding the physics of it. Then he moves to simple combinations, stringing these strikes together.
Right. Combos let you maintain pressure, close distance. Breen really hammers home the need to train these with a good pad holder.
Why the pad holder specifically?
Because they give you realistic feedback, help you develop power, and work on the footwork and transitions between the strikes. It's not just strike, stop, strike. He gives examples like jab cross or front kick into a round kick, fundamental but effective chains.
Moving beyond just striking, he touches on neck wrestling and head control from Muay Thai.
Yeah, the clinch. He sees it as a vital foundation for using and defending against knees and elbows. The key concept is keeping your head over your hips for stability, the plum position. It's about controlling their posture to create your openings.
And briefly, Arm breaks and wrenches,
Yeah.
adding another dimension.
Just briefly, yeah. Examples like an assisted arm bar using the lapel or an arm wrap to create leverage. It's not the main focus, but shows how grappling elements can integrate with striking.
Okay, crucial topic, defense, punch defenses.
hmm
What are the main strategies Breen outlines?
He lists 6. Cover up, parries and blocks, the stop hit we discussed, body evasion, moving the torso, snap back, pulling the head back, and the bob and weave.
And defense isn't just passive blocking.
No way. He stresses that good defense flows immediately into a counterattack. And things like body evasion, using your core and hips, are especially good up close.
Right. What about kick defenses? That seems trickier.
It requires, as Breen says, courage, timing, positioning. Again, evasion and countering are key. He talks about body evasion plus counter strikes, crushing the attacking leg by meeting it with your shin or knee, and parrying kicks away. It's active neutralization, not just soaking it up.
Proactive defense again. He even connects throws back to striking and defense.
Yeah, he presents them as a logical next step, like slipping a jag to get inside for a waist grab and takedown, or catching a kick like a round kick and using that momentum to throw them. It's about seeing the flow between striking and grappling.
Okay, finally, putting it all together. Advanced stuff, rhythm, timing, scenarios.
Right. He doesn't give endless lists of complex combos, but emphasizes building on those simple core techniques. Rhythm drills, using a beat, are huge for developing timing and integrating movement with strikes.
And the combat timeline comes back here.
Absolutely. Understanding that timeline is key to applying your skills effectively in different situations, dealing with a rusher, a distance fighter, ending up in a clinch. It's about making all the pieces work together strategically.
So for you, the listener, we've really gone through the core principles from Bob Breen's book. The stages of learning, the need for a solid base, efficient body mechanics, range, the center line footwork, that combat timeline, and how offense and defense really weave together.
Yeah, and think about how these ideas might apply outside of fighting. When you're learning anything new, are you building that base? Are you really seeking to understand the why, the method? Are you pushing towards that intuitive stage?
Breen's book, Fighting a Path to Understanding, obviously goes into way more detail on specific techniques, drills, combinations than we can cover here. So if this sparked something, definitely check out the book for those practical applications. Maybe think about which of these core ideas really hit home for you.
And here's a final thought to mull over. Brain talks about being the hunter, not the hunted. How can you apply that mindset, that proactive, strategic approach to your own goals, your own challenges? How can you be the one driving the action, not just reacting?